Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, the date is 5th August 2025, and in this video we are going to analyze few important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. But before we start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about the initiative which we had started here, so that if you are new to our channel you will get more connected with us. Basically from 2nd June 2025, we had started an initiative by the name Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, we had promised you that every day we will upload two videos on our YouTube channel. One in the morning session, which is this video where we will discuss the current affairs, take care of your current affairs, and discuss the most important articles in the newspaper, analyze them, break them down into the simplest language, and relate these articles with respect to your prelims or mains preparation. And in the evening session we will upload another video where we will discuss the static syllabus. As you know, currently we are discussing the Indian governance. It would be the 10th lecture of Indian governance today. We had already completed Indian polity. So if you want to join this initiative, please do subscribe, do watch the previous videos too, so that you will get the comprehensive coaching here of every subject. And here we had promised you one thing, that by the month of January 2026 we are going to complete your full syllabus, whatever is required for you to clear the exam, whether it would be subjects related to prelims preparation or mains preparation. But the only exception is that we are not going to cover the optional subjects here. And one more thing, besides these lectures, you also need notes to read from. We are also preparing your notes, and I can say that we are preparing separate books for each subject. Currently, we had already completed Indian polity. Now we are adding governance part to it. If you want to read from our notes or read from our book, you are most welcome. But for that, you would have to mail us, and you would be told to pay 200 rupees per subject. If you are interested, please do buy it from us. It would be very much helpful for you guys, because we had we had made this book in a way that after every topic which we had discussed there would be the possible prelims question as well as possible mains question, so that it will give the continuity, it will give the connection how these topics are relevant for your exams. So this is about the initiative. If you want to be the part of it, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with their friends so that they may also get benefited from it, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. This initiative is for you. This all hard work which we put in these videos, it is for you guys. Please do respond to us, do write into the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now without any delay, let's start our discussion. As you can see, the article is again about this US president, the man behind all this uncertainty right now, the Donald Trump. He when he came into the office, we as Indians, we were very much celebrating his coming in, because we thought that the way his first term was, it would be somehow similar to that of his second term. But unfortunately, the things started to change. He has become much aggressive in his second term, and he put world on the notes. In his first few days, he started imposing tariffs all over the countries in the world, and he targeted specific countries, for example China, Canada, and various other countries too. And India is also one of the was one of the part of it. But eventually he realized a few things, that it was actually his tactics to put world on the pressure, give them the little space, not enough so that they can think, but that much space so that they may proactively take the decisions. And in a way, he will alter the trade policies in his way, in which those trade policies which will favor USA. He tried it with many countries, and mostly he was very much successful in this regard. But when it came to India, he was not able to get what he wanted. And with respect to his relationship with India, if we look at his first term, it was very much different. He was very much celebrated by our PM also, and he celebrated our PM too. But this time it has changed a lot. How he dealt with India, especially during Operation Sindoor. That is also something to be questioned. So first let and now, cutting the story short, what has happened post Operation Sindoor, what he wanted from Indian side that he should be recognized, but India did not recognize him. India did not, recognized him at any point in his contribution to the ceasefire of Operation Sindoor. Keeping that aside, but this person, his personality is something which will affect the foreign policy of USA. He takes things very personally. He was not that much celebrated, and at the same time he had always accused one thing which was constant with him, that he has always accused India for our trade policies. So eventually the time came in, and he levied 25% tariffs and potentially more penalties on India. There would be much more penalties on India. And eventually, now this article is about that India has responded, to the Trump's, steps what he is taking with respect to tariff war with respect to India. First of all, let's analyze why Trump has imposed so much tariffs. We cannot talk about his personality that much in the exam. We need to give the solid answers to that. So first, let's try to find out what were the reasons Trump has imposed so many tariffs on India. Firstly, Trump has always accused that India has enjoyed India is levying high tariffs on USA. India is levying on high tariffs on USA in certain key sectors. So what he wanted, that the trade deficit they have with respect to India. Trump is not the kind of person, I always discuss about it. He does not like trade deficits. He wants that, especially in the trade, he's the kind of person he wants to have the upper hand. So with respect to that, he also says that the USA's markets are not that USA's goods, especially USA's goods, they are not that much accessible to Indians in India. So for that, he alleges that it is the Indians who are imposing high tariffs on them. So that is the reason why he has reimposed. In a way, for him, it is the it is the reaction to the Indian tariffs. He has reimposed these tariffs on India. So this is the first reason he has highlighted. Then the second reason he highlighted for this is the India's contribution in Russia-Ukraine war. They always, as the times changed, especially from 9/11 2001 onwards, the India's alliance with USA, India's relationship with USA went stronger, and India and USA always, in a way, did not like India's relationship with USSR or Russia right now. So in this war, when the war is fought between the Russia and Ukraine, USA and its allies, they want India to side with them rather than to side with Russia, or at least be neutral in it. But there was no, there was no retaliation from India in this regard with respect to Russia. India did not condemn Russia over it. India, even though India has always been the supporter of peace, we wanted to negotiate between the two countries. We wanted that peace there should be peace in this region. But at the same time, India, what they did not condemn Russia for this over this. And even in this phase, we are continuously buying Russian cheap oil. We are continuously buying that and helping our economy to grow. So with respect to this is also one of the concern of Trump, that even in this war, what India is doing, India is supporting Russia's economy. When there are sanctions on Russia, when no country should buy from Russia, what India is doing, they are buying cheap oil from Russia and they are supporting the war. Eventually, they are paying this money to Russia, eventually, which the Russia is using in the war. Then the third accusation which the Trump makes here, that once they are buying this oil from Russia, what are the byproducts of oil? What India is making different goods from those byproducts, and they are selling this in the international markets and making huge profits with respect to that. So keeping these three things in mind, Trump has imposed tariffs on India, 25% tariff, and he has said that he is going to impose much penalties on India. So in this regard, we were waiting for India to respond. we were accepting that maybe today, not tomorrow, India will respond, and how India will respond. And eventually India has responded through the Ministry of External Affairs, and they had made certain points. The Ministry of External Affairs, they had said that, it is not only India who is in this situation trading with Russia. The Ministry of External Affairs accused USA and European Union both that they are also trading with Russia. It is not something we are doing out of the box. They are also very much dependent on each other, and they are trading with Russia. That is normal for them, but it is the hypocrisy of the USA when it is showing what it is imposing on India. So first thing which was highlighted, that it is the USA and Russia, US and EU, even though they have so much hostilities between the two, but they are still trading with each other. And second, the India has also accused that India has also stated that even when we are trading with Russia, we are trading it for the cheap oil, for the economic growth. We are not in a way contributing to this war. So this narrative, what the Trump is saying here, it is totally obnoxious. These are my words. So this is second thing what they are highlighting. And the third thing which the Ministry of External Affairs has highlighted, that when we were trading with Russia, it was fine with the USA. We had not just started trading with them. We are trading with them since this war, before this war started, and since this war started. So they did not had issues then, but suddenly right now they have issues. We are not able to get it. So what are the issues? They are very much different. The issue is with respect to the trade deals. USA wants us to open our markets for them in the specific sectors like agriculture, and we are not willing to do that, because if we will do so, what will happen? Our domestic farmers, they will get highly impacted because of that. Their products, they will generate very less profit as compared to the others. So eventually it is the Indian farmers who will get most impacted if we will open agriculture to them. So that's the issues are something different, but how the Trump is dealing with this, he is making unnecessary noise. This is unofficially, in my words, what the Ministry of External Affairs said here. So officially what they said, that first of all, the Trump and USA and the EU, they are also trading with Russia. Second, we are not trading because we wanted to contribute to this war, but we are trading to buy the cheap oil and eventually help our economy. Third, that we were trading with the consent of USA. It was not something we were doing out of the box. So these were the allegations in this article made by the Trump, and these are the responses which we had given to them. And with respect to this, the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry, they had stated that the government is studying the implications of these tariffs, and they are consulting the stakeholders to take all safety measures in this regard. So this is what the article is about. This is the kind of tussle, very much important for us to understand as a country, and as well as the aspiring civil servants. We need to know what is happening, with respect to with respect to these tariffs, our relation with USA, how important it is, and why it is, it is on a down track. Our relationship with USA, why it is on a down track. We can give many reasons for that. The tariff wars, it is one of the reasons what we discussed here. The post Operation Sindoor, USA's stance, what USA wanted India to do, but how we perceive things. These are various things which we can collaborate together and frame a good answer for it. So with this, let's move to the another article and have a look at it, what it is. Well, the article is about, despite High Court order, rural employment guarantee scheme remains stalled in Bengal. This article, the situation in West Bengal and the center with respect to Manrega, it is the best example you can cite when the cooperative federalism is at risk. When the state and the center, they are not ready to cooperate with each other, and eventually it is the poor people who get affected. It is the poor people who get affected. If we will try to understand this article, first let's have a look at what are the issues. What is the issue in our country? If I will ask this question to you, some may say it is the lack of education. Some may say there is poverty, and mostly poverty is the issue. But how we can counter poverty? Some may say education is the reason, is the way in which we can counter poverty, because we can educate our children, and eventually they will develop the skills and they will get the jobs, and eventually they will live out of the poverty. This is also one of the way to look at it. But if we look at our country, you know, there is also one issue, that is joblessness. And the another thing is that even though the industries are able to create the jobs, but one thing which is most important, that is we don't have this required skills. We don't have the required skills. So the if I will summarize everything, what is the most important thing which we lack right now? It is the skills. And for these people who don't have the required skill, even though we don't have the required skills, who had read in the colleges, but at least we have some knowledge, we have something, we can at least work for the BPO companies. If nothing like tech companies, we can work in the call centers and all that. But there are people who don't even have those skills. So for that, and this population is very huge. It's not something like in thousands or lakhs. It is in millions. This much population we have in our country. So for these people, what the as we are the welfare state, India is the welfare state. It is very much evident. If you would have read my yesterday's discussion about socialism and communism, how India has adopted the modern socialism, how India's socialism is very much different than that of the Europe. So in this regard, how the skills are, we lack skills, and with this in this regard, the government has tried its best to at least provide the employment to these people through especially the scheme through Manrega. And under Manrega, the government will provide 100% of the funds and 75% of the material funds for which the construction would go on there. So these funds are provided to these people. But unfortunately, there was a tussle. Now coming to this article, there was a tussle between the West Bengal government and center. Center has accused West Bengal that in the Manrega funds there has been the corruption. And center has invoked Article, Article 20, Section 37, Section 27 of the Manrega Act, and in the center has paused the funds to West Bengal. So in this regard, the matter went to the court. West Bengal, they had highlighted this issue. The West Bengal government, they highlighted the issue, how the center is impacting their poor people, how they are not releasing the funds. Even it is accused that center owes them 3,000 crore rupees for the work they had already done. So it has, the West Bengal government has highlighted this issue to the highest levels. And eventually when the matter went to the courts said that finally, that it is almost 3 years now. It was, in March, 2022, this started. This holding of funds started from the March 2022. And now it is almost 3 years since these funds are halted for the West Bengal, and the court highlighted that there is no such thing in the Manrega Act that you can halt it forever. So finally, the High Court said that please release the funds and continue this scheme, continue the Manrega there. But eventually, once the court said that please release the funds, and now the things are very much clear that neither the center is willing to release the funds and neither the state is much interested. And why state is not much interested? Because state has a much similar to Manrega. They have another scheme which they had brought in there, which is known as Karma Shari Paravaba. Karma Shri Parmaval, the name of the scheme is Karma Shri Prakalpa. Karma Shri Prakalpa. This is the name of the scheme from the this is the name of the scheme which this West Bengal government has introduced, Karma Shri Prakalpa. It is very much similar to the Manrega, but only for 50 days. So it shows that when the center and state, they are not ready to cooperate, eventually it is the people who will suffer. It is these poor people, unfortunately, who will suffer because of the egos from the center and the state. Even though the High Court has given the orders, but we are seeing hesitance from the center as well as the state in this regard. So this is about the article. I hope you would have understood it. Very simple, a very story-based article. Not nothing that technical in this article. Please do remember the scheme which the West Bengal government has introduced in lines with the Manrega scheme, Manrega Act. So with respect to this, let's see what kind of question can be asked. Here the question says, with reference to the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, consider the following statements. It is a legal right to work guaranteed 100 days of wage employment to every rural household. That is true. The central government can stop the release of funds to a state for violation of the Act's rules by invoking Section 27. That is also true. The wages under the scheme are paid directly by the state government to the workers. That is incorrect. It is paid by the central government. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2. You know, these type of questions are very much important for it, because first, it will help you in getting the idea how the questions are asked. Second, on these lines, maybe the questions would be asked. And third, it will also help you in your CSAT preparation, because this is how articles are written, and from these articles, we are directly driving these questions. So it will also help you in your CSAT preparation. Now with this, let's move to the another article. Let's see what it is about. Well, it is about the Bangladesh a year after Sheikh Hasina ouster. Well, this article, it has been very critical to the present Bangladesh's government, the present interim government of Mr. Yunus. It is very critical to his government. So let's see what this article is about. This article, it is as I told you, it is criticizing the interim government of Mr. Yunus, as it is almost 1 year has will happen on the 8th of August since he came into the office. From 8th August 2024, it was a time when he came to the office. Now almost he is in office for 1 year, and yet he has not conducted the election. You know, usually one of the criticism against him is that within 3 months he should have conducted the election. But what he is citing, that there are the reforms committees there, we will reform, there is reforms commission, we are going to reform many things, we are going to reform the police, we are going to reform the constitution and all that stuff. So that will take some time, and because of that they are not conducting the election. But this article highlights this issue, that it is not it is not because of the reformers they are not conducting the elections, but it is because they are giving the breathing time to the Jamaatul Islamiyah there, and they are giving breathing time to Jamaat Islamiyah party. There is a party named Jamaat Islamiyah party. This interim government is giving breathing time to them so that they can widen their space and give them enough time so that they can win the election. It is accused, this Jamaat Islamiyah is accused that they have very strong connection with Pakistan, and it is one of the radical, according to the money authors, or according to defense experts and all the political experts. It is believed that this Jamaat Islamiyah is one of the radical organization there in Bangladesh. So why this is one of the criticism. And second criticism with respect to the coup, a kind of coup, the civilian coup which happened in Bangladesh, where the Sheikh Hasina's government was overthrown, where she was kicked off from the country, was that it was not something which happened suddenly because of the students wanted to achieve that. But this article highlights that it is not something like that. It was very much well planned by the Jamaat Islami, in which they had a strong support of Pakistan, they had strong support of China, and they had strong support of USA. Because of these three countries, the Sheikh Hasina's government was overthrown from there. And also this article also highlighted that when this interim government came in, they eventually failed in governing the country, especially when it came to the matters of the minorities there. What had happened to the religious minorities there is something which is not expected in the modern societies. So these are some allegations which are made against the interim government, why they are not conducting the elections, because they want to give the breathing space to the Jamaat Islamiyah there so that they can conduct the election. As it is 1 year has passed, this topic is still relevant for India, because of this incident our relationship with Bangladesh had started to deteriorate. They had came much closer to Pakistan and China, which is against the interests of India. So with this, let's move to the another slide. Let's see what article is there. The article says the missing link in India's battery waste management. The article first applauds how India is approaching its environmental conservation. How we are shifting our fuels. How we are going to the alternate fuels and alternate vehicles, and for that the adoption of electric vehicles is one of the way, and for that we would need batteries, and that too in huge numbers. So India's EVs and renewable energy, it is expanding. The demand for the, and with respect to that, the demand for the lithium battery is going skyrocket. The demand for battery, batteries is skyrocketing. So in this regard, there are various issues which we have to tackle. you know Especially with respect to the, this article focuses on the environmental concern, and about the waste management. So with respect to waste management, there is no proper recycling system in our country, which could lead to save the environment and reduce the economic cost. So according to this article, there is no proper recycling system, which and there is no proper recycling cycle. And this growth which we are witnessing with respect to the Indian batteries, with respect to the electric vehicles and renewable energy, it could lead to severe environmental impacts and economic costs for India if it is not recycled well. So with respect to this, the article also mentions of the battery waste management rules 2022. Article also mentions about the battery waste management rules 2022, where it talks about the extended producer responsibility. Extended producer responsibility. Where what is this extended producer responsibility? It is the responsibility of the producer, who is a manufacturer, that who is manufacturing the batteries. It is their responsibility eventually to dispose them of in the whole cycle of the battery, or it is basically much associated with the plastics. In the whole cycles of the plastic, it would be the manufacturer who has this duty. For that, he will earn the credits. He can give this work to any other company. So here what the article is highlighting, that under this extended producer responsibility, the funds which are provided to these, the cost which the funds which are provided to these people, it is very low. It is not something which can be which is affordable for a manufacturer. So what they do, they give such projects to other companies, and there are much chances of fraud from such companies. So in this regard, the article highlights that first of all, we should increase the funds. We can take the examples from the we can adopt a fair and global we can adopt a fair and global compensable EPR floor price. For example, the UK's price is about 4 times what UK has with respect to the EPR, extended producer responsibility. The price they are giving with respect to that in UK, it is 4 times higher than India. So we can adopt that pricing. And also we have to strengthen enforcement mechanisms through audits and digital tracking of the EPR certificates. This can be achieved. And also integrate informal recyclers into the formal sector with the training and regulatory support. So these are the ways in which we can contribute to it. We can strengthen this. These are the recommendations given by this article. And also this article highlights about the growth in the EV lithium battery demand, as it is expected to hit 139 gigawatts hour in 2035, and from 4 gigawatts per hour in 2023. So there it is expected that there would be the boost in it. So the wastage would be huge, and for that there is EPR, but it is not working because the funds given are very low. So we can adopt, the article highlights that please adopt the UK's model, and also do track the EPR system, and do the proper audits and also include the informal recyclers into it. So this is about the article. Now let us see what kind of question can be asked from it. Here the question says, with reference to the battery waste management rules 2022 and the extended producer responsibility in India, consider the following statement. Here the battery waste management rules was notified to ensure the sustainable management and recycling of all the types of batteries. That is true. Extended producer responsibility mandate producers to fund the collection and recycling of their batteries. That is also true. The article argues that the current EPR floor price is too high, which is hindering the growth of the formal recycling sectors. That is also true. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. With this, let's move to the last topic of today's discussion. Well, it is largest Asian tortoise bag in Nagaland Community Reserve. This is the news which can be very much relevant for in the environmental section. So let's see what does the article talk about. It is about the Asian giant tortoise. Asian giant tortoise. What is his IUCN status? His IUCN status is critically endangered. And what is the news right now? The news is that 10 Asian tortoises are back in the Nagaland Community Reserve. 10 Asian tortoises, large Asian tortoises are back in the Nagaland Community Reserve. Nagaland Community Reserve. They are reintroduced in the wild in the Nagaland Community Reserve. And from where they are reintroduced? They are reintroduced from the Nagaland Zoological Park. They are introduced from Nagaland Zoological Park. And this conservation effort, it is the collaboration between the Nagaland Forest Department and the India Turtle Conservation Program. This effort is the it is the collaboration between the Nagaland Forest Department and India Turtle Conservation Program. So this much information with respect to this article is enough. So with this, let us see what kind of question can be asked in the exam. Here the question says, with reference to Asian giant tortoise reintroduction program in Nagaland, consider the following statements. The Asian giant tortoise is classified as a critically endangered by the IUCN. Correct. The reintroduction took place in National Park in the parent district of Nagaland. No, it did not took place in the National Park, but they were reintroduced in the Nagaland Community Reserve in the wild there. Then the third statement, the project is a collaboration between the Nagaland Forest Department and the India Turtle Conservation Program. That is also true. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, we had completed our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends. I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice